Now that spring football is here, Penn State's James Franklin is under the most pressure out of any coach in the Big Ten, and his future hinges on a 21-year-old kid. We'll explain. Locked On Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer. And I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hit that free subscribe button while you're at it, and you'll never miss a single episode. Plus, today's episode is brought to you by the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada. Stay with us for the Armada Team of the Week later in the episode. Big episode here today. The Penn State pressure cooker. We'll talk about that. Sweet 16, 4 Big Ten teams. 2 coaches got hired in the Big Ten. We'll tell you all about that, plus our Tuesday tweets right here. Those are always fantastic. As spring football practice rolls from campus to campus, Penn State's James Franklin is probably under as much pressure to win big as any coach in the country. And his success in taking this program to the top of the mountain hinges on quarterback Drew Allar. Anybody that follows Penn State football knows this. But think about that for just a minute. Try and put yourself in James Franklin's shoes. Say you're a 53-year-old grown man. You've won 125 football games going into year 12. That's more than 10 wins per year. That's math, right? You make $10 million a year to keep the Penn State football program at an almost unreachable level, at a standard that is very high. And yet, your reputation for your ability or your lack thereof to win the big game hinges on a talented 21-year-old kid who's been good at quarterback, but hasn't really quite achieved the level of greatness that was expected of him thus far. To be fair, while Franklin and the Nittany Lions were busy winning 10 games a year, just seems like every year it's automatic now, they were still collecting losses to big powerhouse schools like Michigan and Ohio State, just to mention a few. Penn State then went on this last year and they lost to Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. That was another big game. However, due to the expanded format of the playoffs, Penn State got into the playoffs, only to lose to eventual runner-up Notre Dame by a field goal. Look, it was a great season. It was a great playoff season. But still, they didn't win the big one. They didn't beat Ohio State in the regular season. And to be honest, James Franklin's resume is starting to look like, well, Ryan Day's resume, at least before he won the national championship. Yeah, Ryan Day's resume at Ohio State had a lot of similarities until this year. A lot of people were getting upset with Ryan Day while he was winning almost 90% of his ball games, by the way. But he was still losing to Michigan. He was not winning national championships. And by the way, now he can check that championship box. He still has a Michigan problem, though. And the national championship will quiet that for a little bit. But the Michigan talk, that'll start to bubble up again in November, if not sooner. And the issue of winning big games will continue to simmer for Franklin at Penn State as well. He's the new Ryan Day. You can write that down. But he absolutely is the new Ryan Day of the Big Ten, James Franklin. So, in the end, though, for Ohio State, transfer quarterback Will Howard came in, a 59% career passer, came in and completed 70% of his passes under Chip Kelly's offense and got the Buckeyes across the finish line. Drew Allar has way more talent than Will Howard. And Franklin needs to ride him to a title as well this year. Now, there was some talk that Allar was going to enter the NFL draft in 2025. He decided not to. Obviously, he's coming back to Penn State. I think that was a wise move by him as well. As much talent as he has, as much upside as he has, as hungry as NFL teams are to overdraft quarterbacks, I think it was a good move to stay and still fine-tune some things at Penn State. He still occasionally will make weak, questionable throws, including a couple in the Notre Dame game, by the way, in the playoffs. There are other times he looks great. So you start a conversation with a Penn State fan about Drew Allar, you're probably going to get one or two responses like, hey, this is our year. This guy's great. Or you get the shoulder shrug from those who have expected more out of him at this point. But he is getting better. And, first of all, I think having Andy Kotelnicki as his offensive coordinator is helping with a lot of other things, maybe some things you don't see in a box score. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I think he's getting better at pre-snap reads. He seems a little more comfortable moving just a little bit in the pocket. He's got every physical tool you could possibly need. But I think 2025 comes down to Allar's ability between the ears and his self-confidence. And, then you get 2 back-to-back years with the Kotelnicki. I think it'll help him because if you go backward 2 years, when Mike Yurcich was the offensive coordinator at Penn State, I don't think that he did Allar any favors. My personal opinion, watching Penn State under Yurcich and a younger Drew Allar, I think that he was so hell-bent on coaching Allar to not make mistakes that he went too far, and Allar went too far. Shut it down, too conservative, was afraid to, make mistakes and afraid to take shots down the field. He does take care of the ball. He doubled down on that. There's no question. But he stopped him from being aggressive, too. Taking some shots downfield. You got to do that a couple times again. And, also, let's be real, he didn't have a lot of deep threats to throw to downfield anyway. And at the end of the season, a couple seasons ago, defenses just quit worrying about the deep ball against Penn State. This year, they have USC transfer wide receiver Kyron Hudson, which I'm interested in. He got 38 catches, 462 yards, and 3 touchdowns in a very, very crowded wide receiver room at USC. They all left, by the way. They all went somewhere. So Hudson ended up at Penn State. And he even caught 4 balls against Penn State last year. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how the replacement for Ty Warren goes at tight end. We know that Drew Allar still has his very familiar running backs again in Nick Singleton and Kaytron Allen. That's all great. Penn State's blue-white spring game is coming up on April 26th at Beaver Stadium. These are the kind of things that we get to look forward to and kind of analyze a little bit and see where we've taken steps forward and where we have some more work to do. And then the countdown starts in earnest for a big pressure-packed 2025 season at Penn State. All the expectations start bubbling back up again for the summer. Drew Allar needs to take a big step forward this year, and James Franklin's reputation is depending on it. Nittany Lions fans, let's hear from you, man. It's spring football. Let's talk. Hit me up with the comments on YouTube. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down low so you'll never miss an episode. And by the way, for you early commuters in the early morning, if you want a jump start on your day and a jump start on this podcast, we have an audio-only version that we released 2 hours earlier in the morning. You could jump on that wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, all that. So follow us there every day as well. And don't forget our website, talkbig10.com, where all of our podcasts go on video. And also we have a link to places where you can buy Penn State gear, shirts, hats, t-shirts, all right there at your fingertips at talkbig10.com. So you can check all that out. All right, I have a lot of things I want to discuss with you guys still. First of all, we've got 2 new basketball coaches in the Big Ten. Some hires. We'll talk about that. And we're going to dive into the 4 Big Ten teams that are part of the Sweet 16. Which one of those 4 has the best chance to survive and advance? Plus, we have our Tuesday tweets. All that's coming up right here on Locked On Big Ten. I want to tell you about the Armada Nissan, our team of the week for Armada. It is brought to you by our friends at Nissan and the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada. Each week, our Locked On College basketball experts are picking one team that stands apart, from top-seeded stars to the unexpected upsets. These guys showcase the strength and sheer power needed to push their team forward. This week's Armada And clear-cut team of the week is the Arkansas Razorbacks. Doesn't even have to be a Big Ten team, right? We got it. Despite losing the first 5 SEC games this year, Coach Cal's Hogs fought their way through the most rugged conference in college basketball to not only make the NCAA tournament, knock off back-to-back national champion and Hall of Fame coaches en route to the Sweet 16. They also accomplished all of this without their second leading scorer, Boogie Fland, for most of SEC play, and without leading scorer and rebounder, Duke Diero, so far in the NCAA tournament. So when it comes to the Nissan Armada, they say go forth and conquer, and that's exactly what the Arkansas Razorbacks have done here. So it's clear that our team of the week is out here ready to conquer the road ahead with confidence, just like you can in the all-new Nissan Armada or any of Nissan's outstanding vehicles. Take the Nissan Armada, Rogue, or Pathfinder and go find your next big adventure. Shop at nissanusa.com. That's nissanusa.com. 5-hour energy. We got the new daylight savings time, more time to do stuff in the daytime. You need more energy for all that stuff, and maybe still feel like you lost that hour of sleep. 5-hour energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun. Sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late watching basketball games like me, squeezing in around a golf after work, or just trying to stay busy, 5-hour energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it most. So again, it's great for staying up late, watching all these games or extra activities or honeydews after work, or even some fun after work with all the extra daylight. Head to 5hourenergy.com and find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. So need one now? Grab a 5-hour energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They're absolutely everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized with 5-hour energy. Well, thank everybody for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen every day, especially everydayers out there. Meanwhile, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day. And check out our website, talkbig10.com. All right, couple of coaching moves I want to tell you about. First of all, Iowa has hired Drake basketball coach Ben McCollum. No big surprise there, I don't think. Fran McCaffrey, of course, after 15 years, was out. All-time winningest coach at Iowa, by the way. McCollum has stops at Division II, Northwest Missouri State, and then more recently here at Drake. And combined, McCollum has a 425 win and 95 loss record. Very good. I don't know what's going on at Drake. They just keep cranking out coaches. And so it's good news there for the Iowa Hawkeyes to get somebody there. Colorado State coach Nico Medved, fresh off that buzzer beater loss to Maryland on Sunday. He has been named the new head coach at Minnesota. He replaces Ben Johnson, who was fired. Medved is a Minnesota native. He is a Minnesota alum. He was even an assistant for the Gophers from 2006 to 2007. So a couple changes wanted to make you aware of there. Now, let's dive into the Sweet 16. We got 4 Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16. And this is all after the Big Ten's historic 8-0 first round in the NCAA tournament. That was fantastic. All 8 teams got a win, no losses. So now we're down to 4. 4 of our teams are making up the field of 16. Not bad. I should also point out that the SEC, which started with 14, is also cut in half. They're down to 7. Still phenomenal. So that's where we're at with all this. Now, who has the best chance to advance? I'm just going to focus on the 4 Big Ten teams. We'll start with the Maryland Terps. Everybody's still talking about that buzzer beater that Derek Queen had to beat 12 seed Colorado State. First of all, he walked. Let's just get that out there. Didn't get called, but a lot of debate earlier in the week. Yeah, it was a travel. Took like 3.5 steps on his way to make it the back, but it counts. It's good. Maryland moves on. Not going to take it away from them. So my main concern about Maryland is their depth. I've talked to you about this. If you're an everydayer to this podcast, you know I've talked about this at length before. We got, the Crab 5 instead of the Fab 5. I still love that. and they got all these scores in their starting lineup, and all 5 starters scored in double figures against Colorado State in that game. Do you know how many bench points Maryland had in that game? 2. Just 1 bucket. That's it. 5 starters all played between 33 and 37 minutes, and Jordan Geronimo played 10 minutes off the bench and scored 2 points. That's it. They had 2 more players come off the bench, combined for 11 minutes. They didn't score. So Maryland's not a team you can say can go 6, 7, or 8 deep. They can't do it. And, while we're out here rooting for the Terps to do well, you everydayers know I love to talk about Derek Queen on this podcast. But I stand on by my earlier comments that Maryland's not deep enough to go any further, I don't think, in this tournament. They're going to face the hottest team in the country, top seed Florida. And by the way, Florida can go 10 deep, so they can wear Maryland out. That's Thursday, 7:39 p.m. Eastern time. That's their tip-off on TBS. Gators open as a 6.5-point favorite in that game. Let's talk about Matt Painter and his Purdue Boilermakers. They arrived in the tournament losing 6 of 9 games. Not good. But they seem to have righted the ship just in time. One of our favorite players to talk about is Trey Kaufman-Renn. He had 22 points and 15 rebounds in the Boilers' win over McNeese, and that's just a normal game for him. He's a stat sheet filler. He's a box score filler. He really is. Purdue hit 6 first-half threes in that game, and when they're hot from the outside, they're very difficult to beat. Everything else flows so much better. If they start raining threes on you, look out. So their next opponent, though, is number 1 seed Houston. And Kelvin Sampson's group, probably the toughest scoring defense in the country. That'll be 10:09 p.m. tip-off Eastern time on Friday on TBS. Houston, a 7.5-point favorite. Look, Purdue's going to have to shoot over them. Going to have to make outside shots, because that Houston defense is just too good. So that's going to be a tough haul for Purdue. Let's talk about Dusty May and Michigan. They continue to roll. He took over a team that had 24 losses last year. Now they're in the Sweet 16. Now, I thought this team was too big man centric, too big man oriented, and their less than stellar guard play was going to catch up to them in the tournament. It hasn't yet. In fact, their guard play has been pretty good. Go figure. And they seem to pull everything together in that Texas A&M game. Roddy Gale Jr. comes off the bench. He scores 26 points on 7 of 14 shooting, 4 of 6 from three land. Vlad Golden, big 7-footer, 23 points and 12 rebounds. In fact, the Wolverines out-rebounded the Aggies by 9 points. And the team had, the Wolverines had 17 assists and 9 turnovers. If the Wolverines keep playing like this, they can keep winning games. They, of course, won the Big Ten tournament, so they're getting hot at the right time, and they go right into the NCAA tournament. They look good. Now, the problem is they face the number 1 seed Auburn, led by Bruce Pearl. That game will be on Friday at 9:39 Eastern time. It's a late one on CBS. Auburn is a 7.5-point favorite to start that out. Now, perennial Big Ten representative in the month of March, Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans. 27 straight years in the tournament. 16 Sweet 16s for Tom Izzo during his career. He has 58 wins in the NCAA tournament. That's tied for 4th with Jim Boeheim all time. It's probably where he's going to finish when if he passes Boeheim here. Izzo's 70. You kind of get the feeling that maybe he's going to wind it down here pretty soon. So they're the last Big Ten team to win a national championship. It's been 25 years. Their last game, New Mexico State hung around for a little while. Michigan State was able to win. Jaden Atkins scored 16 points, had the go-ahead three-pointer. Trey Holloman added 14. I do think that Michigan State is the most balanced Big Ten team, and that's why they were regular season conference champions. They did it night in and night out, offense, defense, for the long haul. And I think of the 4 remaining teams, they're still built the best to move forward. We'll see how hot Michigan is. Maybe they can keep it going for a while. And again, maybe if Purdue can hit its shots outside the Houston defense, maybe. But I think Michigan State's built the best out of the remaining Big Ten teams to go ahead and move forward. And they got their game at 7:09 Eastern time on Friday at CBS, taking on Ole Miss. That's the 6th seed. Sparty's a 3.5-point favorite in that one. Again, I like them to win that game as well. All right, still plenty of fun. Let me know what you think, by the way. Hit me up with the comments. Who do you think is going to move on and advance, survive and advance in the Sweet 16? Let me know. Love to hear your opinion on that as well. We got our Tuesday tweets coming up. They're always good. This is no exception. We'll take care of all that in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. Get the supplies you need from the site made for skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're into plumbing, HVAC, electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done right the first time. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. And if you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service. So you'll always talk to an actual person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Again, use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the bracket breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Time now to take a look at our Tuesday tweets. You can follow us on Twitter or X at Talk Big Ten, and you put something good on there. I'm going to put it here on this podcast. So let's fire away. If you're audio only, again, remember our audio podcasts come out 2 hours earlier than the video. If you're an early morning commuter, download those on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Here we go. Going to describe it in best detail we can here for those that are audio only. So there's a picture of Matt Weiss. He was the Michigan assistant that got into trouble with the computers and just checking out girls from other schools. It's a bad story. We did it earlier this week. And Dan Dakich, former Indiana basketball coach, and now he's a podcaster of his own. He said that Harbaugh's regime at Michigan is the most corrupt, most dishonest, most despicable in college football history. We did our entire podcast on this tweet yesterday. If you want to go back and check it out. And look, it's a bad situation. I just thought that Dakich was a little over the top about the history of Michigan football being the worst ever. I mean, that's a little over the top. Here's one that's more fun from at Spartans Rivals. It's a picture of Tom Izzo, post-game interview, and 16 Sweet 16s in 30 years for Tom Izzo. Very impressive. Sticking with Michigan State, at Michigan State hockey, good night Spartans. Here they are, lifting the trophy. They won the Big Ten tournament back-to-back years, regular season and Big Ten tournament champions. 2 years in a row doing the double. Congratulations to them. And here's another one for them with the final score over Ohio State, 4-3, with a little highlight action from Michigan State hockey for the second year in a row. We are your Big Ten tournament champions. Hashtag go green. Congratulations. And yet another one. Can't do too many of those. Now they're going to face Cornell at 5:30 on Thursday for the matchup in the NCAA tournament. See you in Toledo Spartans, and another collage all set up with the Cornell Michigan State graphic on there. Here is from at Dylan Everyday. It's the official Ohio State post. It is a picture of John Calipari on the left and Dusty May on the right. Both made the Sweet 16 in their first seasons. Michigan won 8 games last year. They're in the Sweet 16 this year. Arkansas won 16 games last year. They're in the Sweet 16. And it says here, Ohio State decided against hiring both. Oops. Speaking of Ohio State, national champion Barstool, a picture of Jeremiah Smith running. Just a reminder that Jeremiah Smith is a Buckeye for 2 more seasons. Yes, he is. Here is Maryland men's basketball tweeting out a picture of their Crab 5 with a member of the Fab 5, Jalen Rose, in the background with it, broadcasting the game. That's pretty cool. I like that. More from Maryland at Terrapin Hoops. How sweet it is. The final score, 72-71. Derek Queen and his teammates as he hit the game-winning shot there, 72-71 against 12th seed Colorado State. Here is from at Blue by 90. It's a picture of Jerry Seinfeld just chilling out on his couch, watching TV, eating popcorn, not a care in the world. They've superimposed Michigan over the chest of his sweatshirt. Says, me, just watching basketball stress-free today, knowing that we're already going to the Sweet 16. That is a nice feeling when you locked it up. You kick back and watch the other games stress-free. Speaking of Michigan, this is from at Dusty May Enthusiast. It is Dusty May running through the airport with a little carry bag. Michigan legend in year 1. Yeah, this is a hashtag get dusted A&M. They beat Texas A&M in the tournament. And here's from at Ben Scott Stevens. It was from the Arizona Oregon game. And he said it's 11:49 p.m. Eastern time. He was watching Arizona and Oregon duking it out for the final spot in the Sweet 16. The game is being played in the Pacific Northwest. One former Pac-12 team, 2 former Pac-12 teams. One is now in the Big Ten, going head-to-head, and there was no bigger fan than former UCLA Bruin Bill Walton. Says, this one's for you. 11:49 p.m. watching the West Coast basketball. Yep, no doubt. Wanted to mention that in our tweets as well. All right, that's it for Tuesday tweets. Oh, those were good ones, right? We do that every Tuesday, obviously. Always do a feature at the end of the program. There are many ways for you to interact with us. Don't forget Twitter or X at TalkBig10, plus our website, talkbig10.com. Be sure to subscribe for free so you never miss an episode. And don't forget, you early morning commuters, our audio-only podcasts on Apple and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, they come out 2 hours earlier than our YouTube video one every morning. So if you want to get a jump on the day on everybody else, check us out there on the audio-only podcast. And while you're at it, go back and catch yesterday's podcast about the Dan Dockich tweet comments saying Michigan was just horrible. Jim Harbaugh was horrible. Go back and check that out from yesterday as well for a second listen. And another listen, you can always check out our friends Isaac Shade and Andy Patton from Locked On College Basketball. After all, it is the month of March. You can find Locked On College Basketball on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. That's it for another episode of Locked On Big Ten. We're getting closer to the Sweet 16. We'll have some power rankings tomorrow, and always keeping an eye on spring football right here. Tell your friends about us. We're out here each and every day. For Locked On Big Ten, I'm Craig Schreeman. We'll talk to you next time.